Hey, so welcome to the VET S.O.S. Veteran Entrepreneur Spotlight. Hey, so remember, don't drown in the sea of transition. Grab the VET S.O.S. Lifeline. Hey, the Veteran Entrepreneur Spotlight is proud to be affiliated with the Neil Haley Show and sponsored by Spirit Point Solutions. So what is Spirit Point Solutions? They are a one-stop shop for leading edge products, service, and training for multiple vendors. That's from your AI training, corporate gifts, and so many things more they have to offer. They have everything you need to help your organization thrive in a modern economy. Check out all the valuable offers at spearpointonline.com. I'll say it again, spearpointonline.com, and greatly use our code VETSOS on anything you purchase there. That way you can help our channel out so we can continue our mission of improving the lives of those who have served. Hey, so today's guest, we have a very special guest. We have Miss Monica Fullerton. She's an Air Force spouse, twin mom, entrepreneur, and has been recognized by Forbes Next 1000. She's also been recognized in Military Spouse Magazine, Trailblazers in Tech, the Mighty 25, Entrepreneurista 100, and the that's a mouthful. She's a female founder of the 200 list, a former corporate businesswoman. She founded Spousely. We're going to talk more about Spousely to empower military and first responder small business owners by providing a platform to market their products and services. She's passionate about building a community that fuels learning, connection, and income opportunities for our nation's heroes. Hey, welcome to the show. How you doing today, Monica?
Hey, thanks for having me. Sorry, that was quite a mouthful there.
Yes, it was. It definitely was. Yes. Yes. So let's hop right into it. So you really didn't have the transition. Now, is your husband still active duty, or what's
Yep.
the stat?
Yeah, he's still active duty in the Air Force. Has about about 7.5 years left until the full 20 for his retirement.
Okay,
So just been navigating the journey as we go.
got you. So have you all even thought about or had starting having type of conversations about what that transition looked like for him? Have you talked about
Yeah,
that?
we have, we're both very similar. We're both type A people, very much
Mhm.
planners. So, we've had that conversation many times of what that'll look like. We've got a few different options on the table of what his transition will ultimately kind of roll into. So I feel like we're at a good place. But life can throw us some curveballs. So we're still 7.5 years out. So a lot can happen in that time, but I think we've got a good game plan. So feeling pretty good about it.
Good, good, good. That's really, I think it's really, really good and really powerful that you're starting 7 years out because I mean, you can look at the pros and cons. It's a long time, like you said, anything can happen, but it does give you an idea of, okay, how can we look at this big picture 7 years from now? We have plenty of time to figure out where we're going to live, where we're going to stay, where
Yep.
we're going to work, what's the plan like. So I think it's really important because a lot of us veterans don't get the opportunity of a lot of time to think about transitioning. We're just the daily grind of working and working,
Yeah.
and we don't think about what's the end goal look like for us. So I think it's very important that you all are doing that already. So
Yeah,
now, go ahead. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
I was just gonna say, I think it's very much a team effort, and as a family, that's something that we talk about all the time and have that open communication on. Oh, it'd be nice if we ended up here. Okay, well, maybe we should do this so we could go here. And I feel like just starting to engage in those conversations early on as a family
Mhm.
really helps you kind of navigate over the next few years, or whether it's the next year for that transition, just so you have kind of an idea of that goal that you're shooting for together.
Got you. So, do you all have any kids together?
Yes, we've got twins. So we've got 9-year-old twins, a boy and a girl, and they've been an incredible piece of this journey. I feel like they've been my biggest inspiration to continue pushing myself to step
Yes.
into the uncomfortable zone of everything.
Got you. So last question on the transition. Have you all brought the kids into any of the conversations y'all having, or
Yes, we actually do. I mean, that's one of my biggest things is we try to sit down as a family for dinner as much as possible. That's something that I never had growing up, and it was really important to both of us that we would have that so we can have conversations like this. And we've always treated the twins as just part of the conversation anyways, whether it's through entrepreneurship or work or life or what they're navigating. So we've talked about it of like, hey, are you guys liking the beach life? Do you like more of the mountains? Like what do you enjoy and what would you like to see as you're getting older? So we have, that conversation with them often.
that's good. That's good because by the time you transition, unless you decide to stay longer, they'll be in high school getting ready to graduate. So
Yes.
that'll play a major part into it. Absolutely.
Yes.
So now you mentioned something about entrepreneurship. So talk to me, take me back to what sparked this entrepreneur mindset for you. I know you were in corporate America prior to.
Yep.
Why not just stay on that safe route of being corporate, climbing the corporate ladder rather than
Yes.
jumping into entrepreneurship? Talk about that.
Woo, it's hard, right? The stability is amazing, but it all stemmed from my own pure frustration and inspiration as a military
Mhm,
spouse. To be honest, I never thought that I would be living the military life. Like I said early on, I'm a planner, so I strategically went to college for a certain degree. I picked my place that I was going to be in and build my career. And it really threw me a curveball when I ended up getting back together with my high school sweetheart who was commissioning into the Air Force. So,
mhm,
we got stationed at our first duty station. I felt completely lost of what type of job I should be going in and applying for and who I really was, to be honest, just because I knew that we were going to be navigating a life of the unknown, possibly moving every 2 to 3 years. And so I just felt like I had to pivot in my own personal goals and dreams. And so, long story short, I ended up in a career field that I had no idea I would ever be in, but thankfully I was very lucky and I continued to work my way up and grow with the company and experience so much. And I
mhm,
started to realize that a lot of my fellow military spouses really weren't able to piece the puzzle together. Whether it was like myself settling for a job that really wasn't aligned fully with their passions, or not being able to find maybe a career that could move around with their lifestyle. And so I've personally always wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I knew
mhm,
that it needed to be something that was going to make a greater impact and help others. So
uh-huh,
it just naturally kind of happened. I started doing my market research and I saw that there are millions of businesses owned by our nation's heroes. And I mean, it was just this light bulb moment of like, oh my gosh, if people had one central location for people to go and support and learn about these businesses and why they're
mhm.
making such a big impact and how they're helping bridge the gap between doing what you love and living a life on the go. And so I really started to dive into entrepreneurship in our community and what that looked like.
Got you. Got you. Now, like you mentioned before, I mean, corporate America, having a job is a stable position
Yeah.
you put yourself in. I mean, now, what's been, not in the thick of it, what's been the most rewarding part about being an entrepreneur compared to coming from a corporate American job?
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing is aligning your passions with purpose, while also providing that flexibility and stability that we all
Mhm.
crave. Obviously, we know with entrepreneurship, it can be very challenging to get to a place of that stability. But
Yes.
oftentimes, what you learn as an entrepreneur is you kind of like have a deep dive on yourself, right? Of like what really matters most. And for me, the timing was perfect. I had had the twins. The twins were a couple years old at that point. They were about 3. And I just remember juggling so much and not being fully like fulfilled, having that feeling. And I was like, I am willing to sacrifice a little bit of, the stability piece in order to help more people see that it is possible to do what you love. And I feel like that's when that why and that mission kind of continues to drive you to a
Mhm,
place of figuring out how can you alter maybe what stability actually looks like. And for me it started to change, right? It was okay, I love making a six-figure salary and I love having all of these things, but at the same time I also love helping others grow in a way that actually like lights me up, and I want my children to see that you don't have to settle. So it was one of those things where it really makes you just kind of go back and say, like, what does success actually look like to me?
absolutely. Absolutely. So now you mentioned about the six-figure salary, but also following your passion. What for you has been the hardest or most frustrating part about your entrepreneur journey, and how have you dealt with it?
Yeah, I would say that the most frustrating part about entrepreneurship is you don't know what you don't know, and it is just an
Yes.
ongoing learning process. I will say I have been told no more times I've been told yes. I've been through some horrible failures and challenges, but you know what? The best part about really seeing those obstacles and really kind of overcoming them is you learn so much stuff that you cannot be taught, in a classroom and that you cannot be
Yes.
taught, just from hearing someone else. You really have to go through it yourself to really
Hmm.
figure out like, wow, this part of entrepreneurship, even though it's very challenging and oftentimes it can hold people back, is the most powerful spark to continuing, following your journey where you want to go.
Absolutely. Definitely feel you on that one. So
Yeah.
now, did you get into any type of resources? Because since he's still active, did you take advantage of the resources they have on base or anything that's military affiliate?
Yeah, so I actually jumped pretty much headfirst into it. I'm the type of person where I am just gonna once I have something on my mind, I am going to do everything possible to make it happen, and that's exactly what happened with Spousely.
Hmm.
I will say resources can be very overwhelming. Oftentimes, you don't really. There's so many great resources out there, but when it comes to like your personal self and trying to find a resource that you need, it's almost like you get lost in the shuffle. So I will
Yes.
say when I first took the leap into entrepreneurship, I did not utilize any resources. But then
Okay.
as I started getting more out there and starting to realize like, oh, I really need to understand this better, or I could really use more support here, I started putting myself out there and getting very heavily involved in many different resources. I was a part of Bunker Labs. I was looking for different entrepreneurial resources from all the different sources that are out there. I never could really find what I needed from an on base setting. And that kind of always really drove me a little crazy. I felt like I found more from those that have created resources through their own personal frustration of not being
Hmm.
able to find what they need. Uh,
Yes.
so I just kind of started one thing led to another, and I will say I started utilizing a lot more resources, getting involved as much as possible, but my initial first leap into entrepreneurship, I didn't know what I didn't know, right? So I
Absolutely.
just went for it and I learned as I went.
Got you. So I want to touch on something you just said. You mentioned that you see something, you focus, you just jump headfirst into it. What advice would you give to those on the sidelines who
Yeah.
want to get into entrepreneurship, but their fear of failure is holding them back? The self doubt, the self sabotage is holding them back from taking that major leap and out on faith. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah.
You're jumping out on faith when you come into this realm. What advice would you give those people of how to get over that and to get into it?
Yeah, the biggest piece of advice, and it's something that I wish that I would have put more time into when I was pouring the foundation of my company, was really like learning from people that inspire you. Like follow their
Mm,
journey, whether it's in your specific niche, really start to get involved in that, how that person did it, what were some of the challenges they overcame, and really finding a good mentor early on, and having that person by your side, because I feel like there's so many people that have already walked the path. Like if you can really find someone that you trust, that's something that I've kind of moved into with helping other entrepreneurs is you really don't have to do it alone. I took the
mm,
leap alone. It was very scary. I made a ton of costly mistakes. I found myself probably failing more than I should have if I would have really just put the time into, surrounding myself with more people that inspired me and that I could learn from. But we
mhm,
feel like sometimes that we know it all, or maybe we don't know it all, or we're just thinking like, "Oh, I can do it," like how I thought. Like I can totally just jump in, I'll figure it out as I go. And if I would have maybe just pumped my brakes a little bit and said, "Okay, I love this person's story. I love how they've built this company. It really resonates with me. I would love to figure out if I can, learn from them more and have them by my side." Because oftentimes, as we know as entrepreneurs, we really want to help other entrepreneurs succeed. So
yes.
it's
Yes.
like turns into almost like your continued why.
Absolutely, yeah. I think you said something very profound there. I mean, I think we sometimes have to slow down to speed up because we
Yes.
always like full speed ahead, but then we have to really sit back and say, okay, hold on, let's slow this thing down to figure out some of the nuances that it takes to be into this business. So
Yeah,
having great people around you really makes a difference. So definitely feel you
absolutely.
on that.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Spousely. Tell us about the business. what exactly Spousely does, who does it serve,
Yeah.
and tell us all about it.
Okay. So Spousely is an online marketplace to shop a wide variety of both products and services, all created by military and first responder families. So I like to call it Etsy meets Angie's List, but with a focus on shopping for social good and supporting our nation's heroes.
Okay.
Oftentimes people hear the name Spousely and they assume, oh, it's just military spouses selling. And that's not the case. We have veterans, we have service members, we have Gold Star families, and we have first responders. The reason I named it Spousely was because as we know, oftentimes spouses are really the ones that are taking a back seat on this journey and trying to piece the puzzle together. So I really
Mhm.
wanted to create a place that we could call our own and that helped put more spouses back in the front seat of what their dreams and career goals are. So it's been an incredible journey. Anybody can shop and support on the platform. We encourage, especially civilians, it's a great way to go above and beyond saying thank you for your service. There's nothing more powerful than directly putting more funds in the pockets of all of those that are supporting us on a daily basis by supporting their business. Because, as you know, having that flexibility, stability, and that creative outlet when needed most is so powerful.
Got you. Got you. So I'm pretty sure it's probably nationwide, international. Okay.
Nationwide, and then we do have some vendors stationed overseas, but we've really, wanted to make sure that everyone is taken care of. We've bootstrapped, the company's been bootstrapped since launch, so making sure that we can continue to support everybody in the capacity that we strive for.
Got you. So as a vendor myself, how can I get on Spousely and how can others get on Spousely?
Yeah, it's super easy. So you just go to spousely.com. There's a button that says, become a vendor. And you just fill out a form. You go through the verification process with GovX ID. Once you're approved, you get everything how to set up your shop. We're with you every step of the way because we know oftentimes many people are not maybe tech savvy. So as soon as we
Mhm.
see, a new vendor coming on board, our team will reach out, make sure you have everything to help get you set up. And it really, at the end of the day, the one thing that I always say is don't just join a marketplace like seeking sales. Join a marketplace for community because that's
Mm.
really ultimately our superpower. And what we've been able to do together is help one another grow our businesses. So, for anybody that is like, oh, this sounds great. I'd love to just join a marketplace because I want to get more sales. I always say that's not the best approach. Get involved with the community, support others, whether it's information, whether it's purchasing something from one another. And there's been so much magic that has happened within the Spousely community. We have vendors that have started businesses together that are
Mm.
creating co products together. We do wholesale with corporate companies. We have a ton of amazing corporate partners. So it really goes beyond just a marketplace.
Just a marketplace. Got
Yeah.
you. So for those who want to learn more about you, connect with you, and want to get on, become a part of the community, where should they go?
If they just want to learn more about Spousely, whether they're a supporter, maybe they're interested in becoming a vendor or a customer, spousely.com really has a lot where you can kind of guide. I'm personally always open to connecting. LinkedIn is the best place to find me, or you can send us an email at support at spousely.com, and it's spouse-ly.com. And like I said,
Got
we're
you.
always more than happy to help.
Absolutely. That's a beautiful thing. I mean, I think it's really important, especially coming from someone who's always been a part of a community and organization for
Yeah.
20 plus years, and then you get out and it's like you're by yourself. So it's
Yes.
definitely interesting. Yes, it's definitely be interesting becoming a part of the community. Um,
Absolutely.
Now, is there any other advice would give to up and coming entrepreneurs, someone's on the fence? Like, what would your
Yeah.
end all be all advice be to as far as becoming an entrepreneur?
Yeah, so when I started this journey, I came across a quote that I was like, "Oh my gosh, I swear I'm going to live by this quote and I will use it in every speaking opportunity I get because it is so powerful." And it is growth begins when comfort ends. And
Mm,
that could not be more true. It's something that we live and breathe every single day of entrepreneurship. So
yes.
remember that growth begins when comfort ends. And anytime I feel myself slipping into the comfort zone, it's really nice. It's nice to kind of like breathe a little and be in that comfort, but I always like get the itch of, okay, I'm slipping again. I got to keep pushing myself. I've got to find
Mhm.
ways to overcome something that is just maybe what is going to get us to that next stage. So remember that quote. It's very, very powerful.
Absolutely. Definitely. I mean, because like you said, on the other side of that uncomfortability is come more growth and more growth from there. So it's always best to be in an uncomfortable state. So definitely
Yes.
appreciate that.
Yeah, because if it
Definitely.
was easy, everybody would be doing it, right? So we gotta keep pushing
Amen.
ourselves.
Amen to that. Amen. Hey, well, today we want to thank Monica for joining us on the VET S.O.S podcast. On behalf of all of us at VET S.O.S with the family, we'd like to thank everyone for joining us. You can find us on VET S.O.S podcast on all your favorite podcast platforms, YouTubes, and on all social media platforms. And make sure you subscribe and follow VET S.O.S so you don't miss anything such as this great interview we just had with Miss Monica. And remember, don't drown in this here transition. Grab the VET S.O.S lifeline.